Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today I'm going to talk about my cabinet hardware. And I treat the hardware just like my kitchen jewelry. That's what I call it, my kitchen jewelry. And I picked the hardware from one company. And the company that I happened to pick was Carpe Diem. And I mixed and matched the different styles in the same company, but yet I kept the same finish. It was in an antique bronze finish, or antique, I think it was called antique brass finish, but I mixed the different lines. And the first line I'll talk to you about is the Juliane Grace line. And this is a very delicate carved little florets of flowers around the knobs. And I also opted to have some of the Swarovski crystal in the knob. And so this is a more elaborate knob with a little bit of sparkle. That's why I call it my kitchen jewelry. And I use the Swarovski crystal in my upper cabinets in this knob. Now, I also found some, which is called a cachet. And I used the cachets and I mixed and matched the sizes of these pulls. If it was a cabinet, for example, these tall cabinets, they require a longer cabinet hardware. So what I chose to do is use the 4-inch on the really large cabinets or drawers. So if it was really big, then I increased the size of the hardware, which kind of makes sense. I also really like the placement of the hardware here. I designed it so that because this is a very tall cabinet, of course I'm not going to put my handle at the top, I put it on the lower part of this cabinet. And then the center cabinet, I installed it in the very middle, just for the design aesthetics of this. And then my lower cabinet, of course, a large lower cabinet, I placed the hardware in the upper right-hand corner of that. So it all lines up together, and it's all equal distance apart here. But the aesthetics of this is more pleasing. I've seen some cabinets where they put the hardware in awkward places, and it really does look kind of funny. I also chose in this line, this was just a fun little piece to add, but you can think about ordering cabinet pulls and hardware for other things. And this was just I think this was a 5-inch piece. And I used this as a little finger towel holder here on the side of the cabinet. I just love the way that these pulls had the Swarovski crystal coming around the edges, and I thought that would be a really great decorative finger towel. And so I ordered one of those for that. So think of something fun. Use these for some other uses instead of just having it as something to open a cabinet with. So use your imagination. I'm going to show you the other pulls that I ordered. And this is called, these are called cup pulls. And these are actually one of my favorites. And this is the Juliane Grace. And again, I think this is the antique brass. I think that's what they call it. Antique brass or antique bronze. Antique brass, I think. It has the gold accent. But these are really great. And I've had these on the counters and cabinets for 2 years now. And I've had no issues with the finish. No issues with anything in this brand. And again, I ordered them to go with the size of the cabinets. And the island has all 3-inch pulls, and this is the cachet line. And on the end of the cachet line is the Swarovski crystal. You can see here. I'll get a close-up of that from the garbage bin. Whoops, there. And what I did was the larger cabinets, the wider the cabinet, then I needed 2 of these pulls for the cabinets that are underneath the cooktop. And I opted for the knobs and this is, I think, a 1 1/4 inch round knob. that I use for the entire kitchen, but I opted for knobs in the top drawers because, you know, with this carved wood that comes out, this recessed panel of the wood, these cup pulls would not work here, or drawer pulls would not work on the uppers, so I opted for the round knobs. And when you mix and match your knobs and hardware, it makes it a more custom look to your cabinets. And if you look over here, these are the smaller drawers, so I only needed one of the pulls. So think about size, relationships. You know, the size of the drawer determines the size of your handles. Where I have long, huge drawers, I have, or cupboards, I have bigger, I have bigger handles. So what works and balances, you want to think of it as that. And then also eye-pleasing.